The night Nikola Tesla died, the United States government was at his door before the body was even cold. They sealed his room. They took his notebooks, his files, his research, everything he had spent 86 years building, gone in a single night. The official reason was safekeeping. Sure it was. Tesla had been working on a weapon so powerful it could end all war. Free energy that would give electricity to every human on Earth at no cost, and technology so far ahead of its time that even today we still cannot fully explain it. And the night he died, all of it disappeared. This is the real story of Nikola Tesla, and this is what they took. Serbia, 1856. A summer midnight, a lightning storm cracking open the sky over a small village, and in a farmhouse below, a child born exactly at midnight during the storm. Sure it was. His mother called it a good omen. The midwife called it a bad one. They were both right. Nikola Tesla grew up with a mind that worked differently from everyone around him. He could visualize machines completely in his head, every gear, every coil, every movement before a single piece was built. He didn't need blueprints. He didn't need models. He simply closed his eyes and saw things that didn't exist yet. He saw alternating current. He saw wireless transmission. He saw a world where electricity moved through the air like sound, invisible, everywhere, free. The world was not ready for him. He arrived in America in 1884 with 4 cents in his pocket, a poem he had written, and a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison. Edison read the letter, looked at the young Serbian immigrant standing before him, and gave him a job fixing generators. Edison was paying him to fix things. Tesla was already imagining how to replace them entirely. When Tesla proved that alternating current, his system, was superior to Edison's direct current in every measurable way, Edison didn't congratulate him. He declared war. He electrocuted animals in public demonstrations to prove AC was dangerous. He lobbied governments. He spread fear. He lost. Tesla's AC system powers the entire world to this day. But winning that battle cost Tesla everything. He burned through investors. He trusted the wrong people. He gave away patents he should have kept. By the time the 20th century arrived, the man whose ideas literally lit up the world was running out of money, running out of allies, and running out of time. And he was working on something new, something that made everything before it look small.
January 7th, 1943, New York City. Room 3327, the Hotel New Yorker. Nikola Tesla had been living alone in that room for years. No assistants, no colleagues, no visitors. Just an old man, his notebooks, and ideas the world had stopped listening to. A maid found him on the morning of January 8th. He had died sometime in the night, alone, in a room that smelled of ozone and old paper. He was 86 years old. Within hours, before his nephew had even been notified, before any family had been contacted, agents from the Office of Alien Property arrived at room 3327. They sealed the room. They cataloged everything inside, and then they took it all. Measured each item landing, 2 truckloads of equipment, hundreds of files, dozens of notebooks, designs, calculations, correspondence going back decades. Everything Tesla had been working on in his final years, classified, boxed, and removed. For safekeeping, of course. Tesla's nephew, Sava Kosanovich, arrived and found the room stripped. He protested. He demanded the files back. He was told they were being examined by experts for national security purposes. He never got them back. The FBI then contacted a scientist named John Trump, a respected MIT professor, and asked him to review what had been taken. Trump spent 3 days going through the files and issued his official report. His conclusion? Tesla's work contained nothing of significant scientific value. John Trump, the uncle of Donald Trump, 3 days, nothing of value. The same files that were immediately classified by the United States government the moment Tesla died. Make of that what you will.
Here is what we know Tesla was working on in his final years. First, the Teleforce weapon. Tesla called it a peace ray. The newspapers called it a death ray. Tesla described it as a beam of accelerated particles so powerful it could bring down an entire fleet of aircraft from 200 miles away. He claimed it would make war impossible because no army could advance against it. He offered the design to the United States government. They declined. He offered it to the British government. They declined. He offered it to the Soviet Union. Pause. Let that land. The Soviets paid him in 1935 for documents describing the weapon. Those documents were in his room when he died, among the files that were taken. Second, free energy. Tesla believed and had partially demonstrated that the Earth itself was a conductor, that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly through the ground and the atmosphere to anywhere on the planet for free. No wires, no power companies, no bills. His primary investor, J.P. Morgan, pulled his funding the moment he understood what Tesla was actually building. J.P. Morgan owned the copper wire companies. Free wireless electricity was not good for business. And third, the files that have never been fully declassified, even today. Pages missing from the documents that were eventually released under Freedom of Information requests decades later. Gaps in the record where something used to be. Simply, nobody has officially explained what was on those pages. Nobody has tried very hard to.
Tesla didn't just have one powerful enemy. He had several, and they worked, sometimes separately and sometimes together, to ensure that his most dangerous ideas never reached the public. First, Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison spent years and considerable personal fortune running what history now calls the War of Currents, a campaign of misinformation designed entirely to destroy Tesla's reputation and bury AC electricity. He failed at that, but the personal cost to Tesla was enormous. Second, J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan funded Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower project, the machine Tesla built on Long Island to transmit free electricity wirelessly across the Atlantic. When Morgan realized the tower would make it impossible to meter and charge for electricity, he pulled the funding. Without money, Tesla couldn't finish it. The tower was eventually demolished. And then there was the United States government itself. Tesla had been under surveillance for years before his death. His mail was monitored, his visitors were noted. The FBI had a file on him, a man who had never committed a crime, never belonged to any political organization, never done anything except invent things that were too powerful for the wrong people to ignore. When he died alone in that hotel room, they were ready. The response was too fast, too organized, too complete to have been improvised. They had been waiting. The question that nobody has satisfactorily answered, even now, 80 years later, is not whether the files were taken. We know they were taken. The question is, what was in them that made the most powerful government on earth move so quickly on the night an 86-year-old man died alone in a hotel room? In 1952, Tesla's belongings were eventually released to the Tesla Museum in Belgrade. Some of them, not all of them. In the decades that followed, researchers filed Freedom of Information requests for Tesla's FBI file. What they received, eventually, after years of requests, was heavily redacted. Pages blacked out, sections missing, entire chapters of a man's life work reduced to dark rectangles on government paper. But here is what they could not take. The alternating current system that powers every home, every hospital, every school on Earth, that is Tesla. The radio technology that connects the world. A court ruled in 1943, the same year he died, that Tesla's patents predated Marconi's. The remote control, the neon light, the speedometer, the foundations of radar, of X-ray technology, of robotics, all of it. From a man who died alone with 4 cents to his name in a hotel room that was emptied before his family was called. Tesla once said, and this is the part that stays with me, the present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine. He was right. And they knew he was right. That is exactly why they took everything. Because the most dangerous thing in the world is not a weapon. It is an idea whose time has come, and a man brilliant enough to have it 50 years too early. And maybe that is exactly why they could never really erase him. If this story made you feel something, share it. Because the best way to keep an idea alive is to make sure as many people as possible know it existed. There are hundreds more stories like this one, buried, hidden, taken in the night. I'll see you in the next Lost Diary.